welcome to Michelle Sews Again. I'm Michelle. Today I would like to share with you my version of the Friday Pattern Company Wilder gown. I got this fabric, so I'm wearing it obviously. I got this fabric last week. I shared it on Instagram. As soon as I got it in, I knew exactly what I wanted to make with it, and it was the Wilder gown. It's a dress that I've been wanting to make. I've had the pattern for a little while and didn't really have any fabric that I thought would be suited for it. So when I got this, I was like, yes, that'll work. So if you've been living on a different planet and you don't know what the Wilder gown is, it's a very loose fitting dress. It's got a tie neck and it's got 2 tiers. You can customize it a lot of different ways with sleeve length, with tier length. You can do the ties or no ties. There's a lot of different options in the pattern. And it comes in sizes extra small to 4X. The extra small bust size measurement is 32 to 33 inches, and the 4X is 53 to 54 inches. I didn't bother writing down the waist and hip measurements because it's a super loose fitting, lots of ease. So more than likely, you're not gonna need to worry about those measurements. So according to the size chart, I am a 51.5 bust, so I should have made the 4X. I've started losing weight, not a lot yet, but I've started and I'm being consistent. So I ended up going with the finished garment measurement instead of the instructions measurements. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the finished garment measurement for a 1X was 53 inches. So I felt like that was still gonna give me enough ease to be able to wear it now. And then as I continue losing weight, it'll fit me the way that it was intended to. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. So like I said, I made the 1X. According to the instructions, the 1X dress would require 5¼ yards of fabric. I only had 3 yards of this fabric. I already knew I wanted to make the sleeve shorter. I contemplated using a different fabric for either the 2nd or 3rd tier because I didn't have enough fabric to do all 3 tiers in this print. I only had 1 fabric in my stash that would maybe go with it. I mean, I could say that it worked, but I wasn't in love with it. And I'll shoot a picture of that fabric up here. And I was dragging my feet on it, which made me know that it really wasn't the right thing to do because I knew I loved this fabric for this dress. And I just knew that adding something that I wasn't thrilled about was gonna keep me from wearing it. So I slept on it and thought about the fact that the dress was designed to be a midi length for somebody who is 5'5". I'm only 5'1", so it would have been a flat out all the way to the ground maxi for me. So what I ended up doing was I made the 2nd tier as designed, and then so I was able to get 4, let me back up. You need 5 pieces of fabric for the 2 tiers. The 1st tier is 2 pieces of fabric. The 3rd tier is 3 pieces. I was able to get 4 pieces of the tier out of this fabric, but I wouldn't have been able to do, everything. So that's why I cut out the other fabric as a safety net. But as I slept on it, I thought about it and realized that I wasn't gonna want it that long anyway. And if I cut both of the 2 remaining tiers in half, then I would have 3 pieces to make the 3rd tier out of this fabric. And that's exactly what I did. It ended up being the exact right length for me. It was perfect. It was serendipitous. So I made obviously the short sleeve version. The 2nd tier, I just cut it in half from what the pattern size was. And that came out perfect. To attach the tiers, I used a tip from Sam at Frugalissima. and it was perfect. So I'll link her video below, but she tells you or guides you through step by step how to use elastic to gather, to do big pieces of gathering to fit onto a smaller piece. So the first tier obviously is bigger than the bodice, so you need to bring it in. And then the third tier is bigger than the second tier, so you need to bring it in. And she teaches you how to use elastic to do that. And it was a breeze. I am so glad I learned that, because I've avoided patterns with ruffles or gathers because I hate doing it. It's time consuming. I'm not good at getting them even. And this just disperses the gathers perfectly. And it worked like a dream. So I highly recommend you go watch her video, learn how to do it. If you have a different tip for how you put gathers in, tell me below, because I'd love to know. Let's see what else. I think I might have already said this. I used 3 yards of fabric because that's all I had, even though the pattern called for 5 1/4. I guess it's because I did short sleeves and I shortened that bottom tier by a half. That seems like a big difference, but the tiers are really huge, so that could be it. The one thing that I really loved when I was making this pattern, first of all, the directions were super easy for somebody. I consider myself a confident beginner. I don't think I've progressed to intermediate yet. So the fact that they had all these like really inspirational and positive messages throughout both the pattern and the instructions, I thought that was lovely. And the instructions themselves were very easy to follow. I didn't have a single hiccup when making this. So I definitely highly recommend. I think if you've got a couple of garments under your belt, I don't think you'll struggle with this at all. There's nothing complicated about it. There's no zippers, there's no buttons. I think it'll be really easy for you. The only negative, and it's not really a negative because it's something I could have done, is I wish that I would have inserted some inseam pockets. That would just make this perfection. I definitely see me making more of these in the future, and I would love to know if you've made this and what your experience was, and if you have any pictures of yours on Instagram, let me know below and I'll go check it out, because I'm definitely gonna make more of these, and I think I will make a color block version in the future. It's just for this fabric, I knew I wanted it all in one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful for you if you were thinking about whether or not you wanted to make this dress, and let me know your thoughts below. Thanks a lot. See you next time.